You're listening to the Main Street Deal, part of Main Street Media. I'm Jordan. It's Monday, July 27, 2026. Today, we're walking through one real listing on the market right now. The business is an off-premise catering company in Westchester County, New York, just north of the city. It has been serving Westchester and the greater tri-state area for more than 35 years. That is not a typo. 35 years is a long time for any food business to survive, and it tells you something before you read a single number. This is a company that has weathered recessions, a pandemic, and every food cost swing in between, and is still standing. The team is 3 full-time staff, roughly 18 part-timers who scale up for events, plus a bench of contractors the owner calls when a weekend gets busy. This is a current biz-buy-sell listing. Here are the numbers. The asking price is $550,000. Gross revenue is $1,170,000. Seller's discretionary earnings. The cash flow that lands in the owner's pocket is $214,000. The real estate is not included. It is a lease commissary kitchen at $4,700 a month. Triple net, so you carry taxes, insurance, and maintenance on top of that base rent. Let's price it. Asking price of $550,000 divided by seller's discretionary earnings of $214,000 gives you a multiple of 2.57 times. For a food service and catering business, buyers generally pay somewhere between 2 and 3 times SDE, so this listing sits right in the middle of the fairway. It is not a bargain, and it is not a stretch. It is priced like a broker who knows the market set it. Now, the financing, because that is where a lot of first-time buyers get surprised. Run this as a standard SBX 7A acquisition loan. 10% down is $55,000 of your own cash at the table. You finance the other $495,000 at 9.3% over 10 years. Your payment is about $6,350 a month. Over a full year, that is roughly $76,200 in debt service. Subtract that from the $214,000 in SDE, and you are left with about $137,800. That is what remains before you pay yourself a salary and before you cover any surprise. On a business throwing off this kind of cash, the debt is very comfortable. The question is never whether the math works on paper. It is whether the cash flow is real and whether it stays after the founder walks out the door. So here are the 3 things I would put at the very top of due diligence for this specific business. First, owner dependency in sales. In catering, the relationships are the asset. Corporate clients, wedding planners, country clubs, the venues that feed you, repeat bookings. You need to know exactly how much of that pipeline lives in the owner's personal phone and how much is institutional. Ask for the client list by revenue and look at how many years each account has been booking. If the top 5 clients are half the revenue and they all book because they golf with the seller, you are buying a much riskier business than the headline number suggests. Second, the commissary lease. You have a $4,700 triple net kitchen and you do not own it. Pull the lease and read the remaining term, the renewal options, and the escalation clauses. A catering company without a kitchen is a phone and a logo. If that lease has 2 years left and no option to renew, your entire operation is sitting on a landlord's whim, and that has to be fixed before you close, not after. Third, revenue quality and seasonality. Off-premise catering is lumpy. Look at the monthly deposits across us the last 3 years, not just the annual total. Understand how much comes from predictable corporate contracts versus one-time social events, and map out the slow months so you know how much working capital you need to carry payroll through the winter lull. 214,000 a year is a real number, but if it all arrives between May and October, you plan very differently. Here is my verdict. This one is a pursue, but a conditional one. 35 years of survival, a clean 2.5 times multiple, and debt service that leaves real cash behind make this worth a serious look for a hands-on operator who is comfortable in the food business and can carry the client relationships forward. The single biggest reason for the call is durability. Businesses this old with this cash flow do not come up often. And the first question I would ask the broker before anything else, what is the remaining term and renewal option on that commissary lease? If the answer is short, the whole deal changes. That's it for Monday. Find all of Main Street Media's shows wherever you listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you Thursday for an operator story.